Economic Update. I'm Richard Wolff for Democracy at Work. A very wise commentator about society once wrote that you can tell how great or not a society is by how it treats its older people. The folks who have spent a lifetime living, raising children, working, devoting their brains and muscles to contributing back into the society that sustains them. How you treat those older folks in the last years of their lives tells you a lot about what kind of society it is and what kind of society it is becoming. So I was struck recently and want to share with you a report prepared by the Center for Social and Demographic Research on Aging at the University of Massachusetts in Boston. They're quite famous there for this kind of research on aging, and they devoted themselves recently and published last November results of examining the economic situation that people age 65 and older face here in the United States. And the basic statistics, which I will now mention, struck me as arresting in the extreme. Fully 50% of people over 65 living alone are now economically insecure, which means they cannot meet their basic economic needs for food, clothing, and shelter. When you look at people living in two-person households, couples, it is not as bad, but very bad anyway, at 23%. 1 out of 4 elderly couples 65 and over are financially insecure. What does this mean? Well, on the face of it, without going one step further, it means that the resources this society makes available to people who have lived a working life, working at home, working in an enterprise, but working, as all adults with very minor exceptions do in the United States. We actually work more hours on average as adults than most people in most other countries are required to do. But if you thought that Americans are hardworking and therefore will be recognized in return when they're too old to work, then you would be mistaken. This is a ruthless society we live in, and nowhere is it more obvious than in how we treat, or better, mistreat, our elderly. Clearly missing is a mechanism of providing adequate retirement in monies from a pension, but whether that's a public pension or a private pension, whether it's Social Security, or whether it's relying on your children, who these days are having their own economic problems, as we all know. But however you cut it or slice it, this is not a great economy for the tens of millions of Americans age 65 and older, a number that will soon, and for the first time in a very long time, if ever, outnumber the children in our society. It tells you something when the 3 richest people in this country have more wealth than the bottom half. To remember that the bottom half includes a large number of people who have worked very hard, making this society what it is, and being thrown away in a manner that reflects everything but a great economy. This is Richard Wolff with today's Economic Update.